Hey guys, how's it going? This is Spacehamster with an episode of Building Blocks, I guess. Basically, this is going to be the map transition effect. So, first of all, I wanted to show you guys something. This is the map transition effect from the Minecraft Hardcore. So, a lot of people were asking me, how did I do that? And, like, what do you do? And stuff like that. Well, realistically, most of the work is done for you because there is this map here, the MineZ map. So during the series, we're starting off in two different positions. There's like a position over here and a position over here on the map. And so there's this transition effect that I did where you basically would zoom out and come over here and zoom into where the other location is because the group was separated. So basically what I'm going to be doing is showing you guys how I did the effect, because there's it actually is a little bit more in depth than you might think. It wasn't just me recording the screen, zooming in on this, and then zooming over onto another section or anything like that. So what I did is I already have a pre-done video. All I did was I took Bandicam and I resized it to the screen because obviously you don't want all of this stuff on the sides, and I recorded every time I had to do this, pretty much. I mean, I could have built an entire map, but I didn't do it that way. But essentially what I did was every time I was going to do a transition, I built a new map. So from the camp that I'm working on right now is we are here in this town, and McJones and the other team, Pro Jared and Dean, are over here at this section. So in order to do that, I need reference points for each section. So basically what I do is, as you can see, this is why you have to do it this way. Like if you zoom out this far, if I just took a still image of this and I animated this, it would look bad, because when I'm zoomed in on the town, it wouldn't be as detailed as this, and I want all that detail, right? So this is what you want, is you want the detail. So what you end up having to do is you have to take different shots. So what I ended up doing was I made a video and I started zoomed in like this, and then just zoom out, wait a couple seconds, zoom out, wait a couple seconds, and then go as far out as you need to go. And then you have to zoom, you have to get another reference point. So you have to use, like, we can use the mountain as a reference, and then we can use the town as a reference, and just try to realign them later. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to bring up After Effects now because I have the video imported already. So basically what I have to do now is I am going to make this a little bit bigger so that we have some breathing room later on. And I have all of the shots. Actually, I have to make the composition a little bit longer for now, like 30 seconds should do, because the video is longer than 30 seconds because I wait a few seconds so you have time. And basically what I'm going to do is, I think I'm adjusting it, so here, don't need this part, and move it over. All I did there was I did Control-Shift-D, that lets you make a cut. So this is going to be another cut right here. I mean, realistically, between this shot and this, I can make it a little less complicated for myself. So I can probably just use the close-up here and this one right here. We can see how that works out. I'm just doing this as I go. Like, I figured, hey, why not make like a little video about it as I go. So the thing though is it's a video, so I have to freeze frame it too. So right here we want to go layer, time, freeze frame. So now it stays like that the entire time. We're going to stretch it out too later, but it stays like that the entire time. And so now we have the zoomed out. We have to do, oh wait, no, not just, we want to make all the cuts first. So we're going to use the first town here as a reference point. See? So the first town has a reference point, so you see me adjusting there. So that's where I have to make a cut. So Control-Shift-D makes another cut. And then over, we can use the mountains, Control-Shift-D again, and we now actually have to move this along because it's actually longer. The comp size isn't as big. So we want to do time, freeze frame on that. Oh, not that one, this one. Time, freeze frame, move that over, and then layer time freeze frame. Too bad there isn't a shortcut for that, but just do it and move that over. So now we got that and we are good on that. Let's go to the next position. Since we did only one other one, we'll keep that trend going. So because we only had the first, if I could show you here, this first one. We had the very zoomed in one, so we don't want to have more layers than is necessary for this effect. And yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, we don't want more layers than what's necessary. So we got the zoom in here, so let's do layer freeze frame. Not on all of them, Jesus. Layer time freeze frame. And we need that one. Layer time freeze frame. No, not that. Jeez, sometimes this thing is weird. Let's see. There we go. Alright, so now we have all the freeze frames set up. So now what this means is I can adjust the comp. So this is not going to be more than 10 seconds. So let's go to the composition and switch it back down to 10 so that we don't end up doing something weird later on and making it way too long or something like that. But now that we have all the time frozen, let's just get rid of it and move it all over because it's going to encompass the entire thing. So we can extend all these out just by dragging them out. And now we have all the layers that we're going to need. So let's start with a layer. So this layer we know for a fact is going to be really, really close. So we want to move it further up for now. That is also close, so that's a good position for it. And then the rest of the layers are just reference layers. So this is the first layer that we start out with. So what we have is the initial layer here. And what we're going to be doing is actually not soloing. Well, we soloed this layer, which is when you have the eye. So we have the other layers invisible. And if you press T, that's a shortcut for opacity. And you want to actually just make it so the opacity is down, because what we're going to be doing now is actually lining it up. So what we're doing is essentially just taking this really big layer and sizing it down, but it's the detailed layer. So we're essentially just gonna make this like fit right on top of the other layer. But since it's the more detailed layer, it's gonna look nicer when I zoom in on it. So it'll have all that detail. But you'll notice here, like, you'll see like it doesn't line up right away. So what you have to do is you're gonna have to like adjust it a little bit. But you're using the reference point of the town to make sure all of this is aligned properly. So I mean, it doesn't have to look 100% perfect or anything like that. Let's see what it looks like. See, look. So see how far I'm zoomed in on the map and how fuzzy it looks. I mean, it's not. Oh, actually, it is on full right now. So that's like the full. If I was zoomed in this far, it would look terrible. But look at this. Like I put the opacity up, and look how much nicer it looks. So that's why we're building this map, is because I'm going to be doing an effect where you're zoomed in a lot more. And in order to do that, in order to make that look nice, it has to have all that detail. So let's do it this way. So one trick that you can learn is if you double click any of the tools up here, which we want a ellipse tool, it'll create a mask. And why do I want to do that? Well, I want to do that because this is the only area that needs to be in view when I do the zoom. So not only that, but it's the only area on the entire map with that much detail. But it's also because if I didn't add a mask like this, look, you can see the borders, and we don't, and see, and it's not even lined up perfectly well. And we can adjust this later if it doesn't line up perfectly. But what you want the mask for is you can mask out the corners so it looks like more closely resembling. There's stuff going on outside, so hopefully they stop doing that. Are they gonna stop? I don't think they're gonna stop. I'm gonna have to do some window closing. Alright, so basically what we're doing here is we're going to smooth out the edges. So if you go to the mask properties down here, you can expand the mask just a little bit, smooth it out, and then it'll look more like it belongs. And we're going to be going pretty dang fast, so I don't think people will necessarily notice it being off balance. Like if I notice it, then sometimes I get really meticulous with it. But I mean, I just move this around. It's like, yeah, you can see already the difference. Like you can see it if you look really closely for it, but since it's smoothed out and everything, like it just looks like it belongs there. So what does that do? So we have this here. So what we want to do is we actually want to parent it to the layer, the first layer. This is the initial layer, which I can rename like map 1 or something like that. This is the base layer, and I want to say this is the parent layer too, because everything that I do, I'm going to be controlling with this one layer after I parent it. So like if I move this, the whole thing now, then this layer right here, the detailed layer, moves with it. So that's the whole point of this. And basically what we can do now is we can just keep going through. So now we don't need that one turned on because it's just going to get in our way most likely. So what other layers do we have here? We have the really big layer here. So what we want to do is we want to, these ones are taken at the same exact position. So you got to think ahead with this stuff sometimes. Excuse me. You got to think ahead with this stuff sometimes because it'll be easier to line up if it's just the exact position. So what I can do is I can line up the borders here, and I'm pretty sure that's just spot on. Not that layer. Which layer? This layer. Let's get the opacity down. Yeah, so it's basically, I'm just extending the map at this point. So I just extended the map. I mean, I don't even think I have to do any masking or anything on that because it's literally the same size and I just lined everything up. So it should look good. So parent that. That one's done. And then now we need the last one so that we can do this. And boom. No, over there. Turn down the opacity on that. So, I mean, there's a little bit of busy work with this effect, you could say. But that's what you do sometimes. Sometimes you just got some effects that you gotta do and that are gonna take a little bit of time. So there, that's all lined up now, it looks like. Looks good. I don't really see much wrong with that. Just checking the edges and everything. You just want to, I mean, like this part down here, that doesn't really matter too much. So because what I can do later on is I can manipulate the zoom a little bit too, because basically what I'm going to do at the end is you'll see is we will end up making a animation out of this with keyframes and everything. So if there's stuff like the blackness down here, we don't want that in there, but that's not going to be part of it most likely. So let's see here. Now what the next step is we got to add this layer down onto the map, the detailed layer, because this is where McJones and his team is right now. And we are just gonna make that happen. Let's see here. Bring that opacity down and zoom in here. So we got that. I mean, sometimes it's not gonna be 100% perfect. You can spend a lot of time. Try not to spend super insane amounts of time on this just because you don't want to spend so much time on an effect that's not going to be there for that long. This is literally like a 5-second effect, and I don't even know how long this has been going already, like 15 minutes maybe or something like that. So now we got that. Let's bring the opacity back up, but you see you can kind of see something's there. So we're just going to double click on it to do the mask again. And it's already feathered out to the same. Oh, that's not that one. We gotta feather it out. Let's get rid of that. So we're just feathering it out a little bit. So see, look how much better it looks feathered out. It's like you can see the detail difference, but people aren't going to be focusing on that when it's moving. So you just want that detail from the beginning. So we got that in there now, and we got to parent that. Oh yeah, we got to parent the other one too. So all these are going to be parented to this, and we got stuff being added to the Dropbox. Let's see here. So now we can turn all the layers back on, and the parent layer is the main layer, so we actually have the entire thing parented now. So everything moves with the one layer. So sometimes that could be a little bit annoying, and you can make a null object if you wanted to, but you can control everything from this now. So what I can do is I can make an animation now. So let's make a little animation. Don't need it, I just need position and scale, most likely for this one, because we can do all the other effects inside the editor too, because we're going to import this animation into the editor after we're done. So let us make a animation. So what we got here is the keyframes down here, and we want this to be about 8 seconds. Like, that's really all it needs to be. So that's why this entire thing is like 10 seconds long. So let's do like a 2-second zoom out or zoom in, or scale down to make it come out to the map. So a little bit further, and we're gonna move it so that it moves at the same time while it zooms, so that the border isn't in as much of the shot. So let's preview that, and then we're gonna wait like a second. Let's wait a second. So just copy the keyframes, and we're gonna move through to here. So how short is that? That's too fast. About 2 seconds on the move. So we got this that goes out, and then it waits a second, and we're gonna make it smoother. Don't worry. And it goes on over. Okay, cool. So let's do that, and then it's gonna wait another second, and then zoom in really close. This is the control layer though, so we gotta do this. Oh, right. Here we go. I gotta find it again. And zoom that in. Keep on zooming. Alright, but since we did the scaling here, we need the scaling keyframe here. There we go. Sorry, I wasn't very close up on that. But yeah, so we got the basic animation. That's all we need, really. I mean, that's the whole effect, basically. But and that's why we need the detail, too, is because we wanted this shot to look good when it zooms in. And I know that's a lot just for one shot. Well, we're going to smooth everything out. If you select all the keyframes and press F9, you turn on the Easy Ease keyframes, and then look how much smoother everything gets. So everything kind of, instead of going from one direction and it like tweens, tweening is like when it just fills in the differences like from the movement. But if you use the Easy Ease, it smooths everything out, as you can see. This is on full quality too, so this is like what it's basically going to look like when it's done. And so we have the effect going already. We can add a bunch of stuff, but even if I just added sound effects and everything like that, that effect would still be good. So let's see, what else do we want to add? I've been adding like a little bit of stuff like clouds and just little details that maybe make it a little bit better. But for the sake of, well, actually no, I can show you. What I was doing before was I was adding, let's see, let's go and grab some stills. This is my folder here. So let's grab a pixel cloud and just import that. So got the pixel cloud, and except for that has the background, which we can take care of pretty fast. this is actually going to take a second. So let me do this. Boom. Okay, there we go. Got the pixel cloud done. So now it is a just regular pixel cloud. Should have nothing else. Okay. So we have the cloud here. So what can we do with this? We can just have it be there above the city or something like that in a small capacity like this. So basically what I have to do is I just parent it to the parent layer, and you don't want it to be, clouds aren't just that thick, you kind of want them to be a little bit opaque, so let's just make it like that, and we can just make it so it's traveling a little bit. So let's just do a positional keyframe, and it's not even in the shot the whole time, so the position, let's just say we want it to go really slow, like just across like that. So it is going, let's make it so it starts at the beginning, and ease it. So it's just moving across like very slowly as you zoom out, and then we're gonna be going away to make it a little bit longer. And at this point it doesn't matter because it's not in the frame at all. So basically that's all I was really doing. That's the whole effect. So let's export it and bring it in. And now we're going to bring it into Vegas, which is what I use, but if you bring it into anything else, like you can bring it into any of your products as long as they support. I render mine in QuickTime because the quality of it is a lot better. It makes for bigger file sizes, but hey, sometimes you just can't win. So where are we with that? So we are here in episode 2 right now, and I will make sure not to release this until episode 2. As you can see, I have all the frames set up already. So basically this is all the camera icons, the question marks where people are. This will eventually be if people die, like this layer right here. And then you have the outer layer, the position of the faces and everything like that, just like the foreground thing. So basically what I have here is I have have it set up so that the interval of the episode is about it's about like halfway, and then I'm switching positions basically. So right at the, if you go back and watch the episode, I don't think
can you
fill
it
up in like these cauldrons?
I hear. Yeah, I hear. Oh god! Watch out! Oh, there's three.
So right there, and then we're gonna start with team 2. So right about here is where I'm gonna put in this effect. So let's grab the effect. It's I already brought it in. So let's grab it, bring it in here, make sure it's the full size. And I usually leave that dead space. If you can see here, we had like about an 8-second animation, but it's 10 seconds long. You want to do stuff like that because you'll give yourself more options later if you want to edit something else in. So let's listen to it just with the music that I have for the map transition. So that's pretty good. Obviously this is on in the editor. You always want to be editing on a lesser quality. So this is about what it's going to look like. It's not as contingent, I guess. It's contingent upon what it'll look like at the final release, I guess. That's not the right word. It's going to look different because the playback is going to be a little choppy sometimes, so you know it's going to be looking a little bit different. I usually look past that kind of stuff at this point, but because it's just, I know what it's going to look like when it's done at this point. But for those of you who are worried, like, oh, it looked choppy in the pre-render, like, or before, just like here, up here in the preview window, it's like, oh, don't worry about that, because that's not what it's going to look like. So we have that going. So now we need to bring in the sound effects. I actually have the sound effects already brought up here. That's not that one. I have the first episode over here. Let's grab the longer effects. I think this is it. Yeah, so this is it. So we have all the effects here that I have, which is a lot of effects already. So let's just group those together, and we're going to copy them over here, and I'm going to lay them down. So that's the benefit of doing stuff ahead of time, is that I already have basically the effects for this. So let's see if it sounds good with just the pre-done effects that I already have. So timing's off a little bit, so let's move this over. There we go. And then we can we can do a direct cut right there. And we're gonna cut this off. And then what do we need? We need, this is now going to be different. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that the other people are on questions. We don't know where the other people are, namely myself, Ian, Austin, and Barry. So we don't know where we are anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to enable the mask and redo the mask on this side. And because now these guys are now the questionable ones. They're so questionable. Their methods are questionable at best. But we don't want to just be like, boop. We want to actually like bring it over during the transition. So let's do that by doing this, and we'll just have like a gradual question mark fade, a little bit faster than that. There we go. And then this will have a direct change. So who's going to be the camera? I have the camera for Mick Jones, so let's bring it over, the frame over, and there we go. So basically now the end of the thing, the completed effect, if you will, which I might tweak, but this is essentially how I did it, is this. That doesn't sound right, actually. Oh, it's because of I copied over the effect on the same area. There we go. Alright, so here we go. And there you go, that's the effect. So I'm basically just going to keep continuing editing this episode. This episode's about like 6 minutes in, and I have a bunch of other footage to go through for this specific episode. So yeah, there you go. That's how I did the whole effect from start to finish. It's super, not super simple, but it is one of the more simple things that I have to do. It's just a time-consuming thing. So I mean, you saw how much time. I don't know how long this thing is, and if you stuck it out for this long, but this is basically a 8-second effect, and it took however long to do just this little transition. So I mean, take that for what you will. It's a nice little effect though, and it makes it just adds something extra to the whole thing by making the world seem really big. Maybe add some more like suspense to the whole thing by making it transitions, like, yeah, I physically am taking you from one place to another, and maybe shows, especially in the first episode, how far away that we were from each other, and we weren't even in the same call or anything like that. So we actually separated everybody, and we didn't know what was going to happen to anybody, or if we were going to show up and people were just going to be dead. And so I think I was trying to think of ways to create an effect that would like be cool, but also show people like the distance between all this stuff. So that's how I did it. You can take this concept and apply it to different things probably. I mean, you could do a lot of different things with that. As long as you have the tools. I mean, like, luckily enough, there was this this right here, the map. So I was like, this map is cool. I need ways to actually utilize this map. So I thought of something. I thought this up. I thought it'd be cool. So that's what I did. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you guys learned something. And yeah, see you guys on the next episode if there is one. There'll probably be some. All right.